All right, Mike, we got our 4A PIAA District 3 championships. We got, I think, one of the best brackets in here. Again, I mean, you talk about all six of these brackets, they're tough. I mean, District 3, you got to give a lot of credit to as far as having some quality teams. I think you're going to get some great state representation here in the PIAA playoffs. But we look at the 4A bracket, and it is, I mean, it's pretty top heavy if we're being honest here. You got two powers in Delone and Wyomissing. That was the matchup we had last year. Wyomissing prevailed. Both teams undefeated. Both teams, I think, are very. It's going to be a very, very good matchup, assuming we get that one. But you got some other good teams there in 4A that we have that I think we're going to are worth talking through. So here's what we'll do, Mike. Why don't you take a stab at the top half of the bracket? I'll start with the bottom half of the bracket, and then we'll see what we got in terms of some of the picks here. So you go ahead, top half, and then I'll give you my thoughts, and then I'll start with the bottom half.
Okay, so top half. First off, Delone is undefeated. They were undefeated versus PIAA schools, but they did have two losses to out-of-state powers, and then they did lose to I think Northeastern by one in the York playoffs. But Jerry Eckenrode, he's been doing this forever. His couple state champ or three state championships, I believe, a number of district championships, been in the finals a number of times. Great coach, great program there. I have Delone coming out of the top of the bracket. I like the 8-9 game. Eastern York and Bermudian, two schools that are rich in tradition, have done very well in the playoffs. Yeah. That's a tough game to call because both coaches are done a great job. And, the leading scorer in the whole York League, it plays for Eastern York. Names escape me right now. Ariana Seitz, 19.9 a game. I'm going with Eastern York to beat Bermudian in a close game. Then I'm taking Delone over Eastern York. Bishop McDevitt and Berks Catholic, Bob Birmingham, very successful coach at Berks Catholic, great program. They're struggling a little bit to score this year, but they defend. They always defend, and they're always well coached and always well prepared. I do think McDevitt edges Berks Catholic out, although I could go either way on that game. So I've got Delone versus McDevitt in the semifinals, and then I have Delone coming out of that with a victory into the championship game. On the 23rd or 29th at 4:30.
All right. That's yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I think that's you can go pretty much anyway with some of these picks. I do agree. I think Delone's going to end up representing the top half. I don't think that's a huge surprise there, but in terms of the 8-9 matchup, I have Eastern York over Bermudian in a close game. I think that's going to be a fun game, but I think for either of them running into the power that is Delone then in the next one, that's going to eventually lead you to the consolation round. So on the 4-5 matchup, though, I got Berks prevailing over Bishop McDevitt. I think that's going to be as fun a matchup as we're going to have, though. The 4-5 there in this bracket, I think, is two similar teams, two teams that are both very well coached. But I got Berks prevailing just barely in that one. But again, I got Delone winning that top half. So that's how I see it. So not much disagreement with you there on the top half. Let's go to the bottom half. You got the 10-7 matchup, Middletown and Schuylkill Valley. Schuylkill Valley was able to get in. Congrats to Coach Jason Bagensos getting his 100th win this year. He's done a great job there. But I do think Middletown takes that 7-10 matchup and they win that first game there. And they're going to run into Wyomissing. Again, 22-0, just won the Berks League. I got Wyo over Middletown in round 2. On the bottom half, you got Northern Lebanon, you got Trinity. Northern Lebanon from Ken Battistelli, just one of the best coaches, I think, in the LL. That's been there for quite some time. I got them winning that first round matchup. Beaten up on Trinity. I do think they're, Northern Lebanon just defends. They'll make you grind out everything. You got to earn it. I see that 2-3 matchup taking place. I think Northern Lebanon makes Wyomissing sweat in round 2, but I do think that Wyomissing is going to prevail. I think Wyomissing's very strong there, and they're going to end up beating Northern Lebanon in that second round game. And then ultimately in the championship, we got the lone Wyomissing matchup, which again I think is as high powered as you're going to find. It's probably as good a matchup that you can take. This one, as I see it, is a coin toss. And full disclosure, both Mike and I did coach at Wyomissing, so we're familiar with the program quite a bit, familiar with Coach Aaron Anders and everything he's doing there. Let's see what I got here. I got Delone by 1. Delone by 1. That's the pick. But I'll tell you what, I could easily pick why missing by one. It's going to be a great game. I think either way, you got it. I'm going to end up taking DeLone because I think I know which way you're going to go here, Mike. So that's why I got to pick DeLone.
All right. Well, bottom half of the bracket, Middletown is as good a number 7 seed as you're going to see. And like I was going to say, congratulations to Schuylkill Valley coach Jason Bagenstos winning 100 games. Excellent soccer coach as well. He's done a great job with that program. But I do think Middletown will be a little too strong for them. Middletown did beat Wyomissing last year, and they played them very tough earlier in the season. I believe it was a 5-point game, but
Okay.
it was a 7-point game. But Wyomissing defensively is just as strong as I've seen. I mean, people really struggle to score against them. The way they play that zone, the athleticism of Hurlman and McCaffrey and Stewart and Hardy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough to make passes against them. Now, going to be playing on some bigger courts, Giants Center. I think that'll help teams be able to, spread out a little bit. But I don't see Middletown beating Wyomissing. I think they might hang in the game for a little bit. But I got Wyo winning that one. Trinity's kind of sputtered down the stretch here. I think I have Northern Lebanon pretty big over them. Wyo, I do have beating Northern Lebanon in the semifinals, although I think, Northern Lebanon, well coached, great program, great defense. I think that'll be a low scoring game at Wyomissing. I'd take the under if I could, but I think Wyo prevails. Wyo and DeLone in the championship. Not only did I coach at Wyomissing, I went to Wyomissing. My dad coached at Wyomissing. There's no way I can go against the Spartans. I had the Spartans beating DeLone in the championship, although nothing but respect for Jerry Eckenrode and his program. But I just think
Absolutely.
Wyo is peaking at the right time. I mean, they just beat 3 6A programs
Mm,
to win the Berks County Championship. And, they beat Wilson in the finals, and Wilson had one loss all year to Dallastown.
how
So
about that?
I'm missing is just playing some great basketball. I will say, though, I think the consolation bracket might be as entertaining as the winners bracket in this 4A because they do have
Mm,
16 states. So what
yeah.
I have come out of here total, Wyo winning it, DeLone second, I've got McDevitt beating Northern Lebanon, but I could go either way on that. So
Mm,
McDevitt third, Northern Lebanon fourth. I have Middletown coming out as the 5th seed
how about
and
that? Okay.
beating Berks Catholic in quadruple overtime. And Berks Catholic also qualifies for states as a 6th seed. Can't leave my friend Bob Birmingham out. He'll find a way to get his team in there.
Well, I
So
was
those are
gonna
the
say
making states.
he's definitely your friend, but he's also maybe a friend of me is a better way to say it when you were a coach because that was quite the matchup there. But Berks Catholic and Wyomissing are bitter rivals, but these two, I think, again, you got to give a lot of credit to Wyomissing what they've been able to do this year. Coach Aaron Anders goes to defend with the Wyomissing Spartans here. It's going to be a fun matchup if it becomes the 1-2 for sure. And again, I'm picking DeLone, but that is one that is a 50.001% pick. I don't know much there. That's going to be a great matchup. You just got to wonder if it's going to be as entertaining as it was last year. So I agree with your six, with the exception of I do have the Northern Lebanon and McDevitt games flipped, but otherwise I have your 6 teams. I have Northern Lebanon over McDevitt though. But otherwise we're pretty much in agreement there. So that's going to be the picks. Let us know what you guys think of our 4A District 3 bracket. Again, one that I think is going to be a lot of fun to follow. I wish I could be at all these games. I'm telling you, I feel like we got to get the huddle cam and get 6 different TVs because there's going to be a lot of good basketball taking place and definitely a lot of results that we're going to be following closely. So that'll do it for our 4A wrap up there. Make sure you stay tuned as we go through some of these results as well.